Well, we're here at the HSPA conference with Marjorie Wall, the outgoing president for HSPA. It's been a great conference, Marjorie. Before we get into our discussion, let me pause here and have you introduce yourself and your role.
Thank you, Amanda. So I am Marjorie Wall. I'm the current HSPA president. Going out, I think tomorrow, we're going to be bringing in our new president, which we're really excited about. Currently, I'm also a director at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. And industry advocate, and really just excited to be here to talk to you.
Well, thank you for being here. So you've had quite an evolution in your career. You started as a technician, and your career is still evolving, actually. Tell us a bit about that.
Sure. I actually did start as a technician back in, I'm going to age myself a minute if that's okay.
Sure. Won't tell anybody.
Please don't tell anyone. It's between us. I actually started back in the 90s at a trauma hospital in Georgia. And if you can just go with me, I'm going to take a moment and kind of tell you a little story. When I started at the hospital, I was actually hired from dietary. And I was hired to work the weekends by myself in this big trauma hospital. And like I said, back in the 90s, a long time ago. And that weekend, we had several hip trays. If you remember the old Synthes DHS hip reamers, I washed, cleaned, sterilized those trays, sent them to the operating room. The next Monday, they had another procedure. And I'm sharing this for a reason, so just bear with me. That next Monday in surgery, they opened up those instruments. It's a reamer with a guide pin. Mm-hmm. They put a new guide pin in. A worm of blood came out. Mm-hmm. They opened up the second set. Same thing. A guide pin went in, a worm of blood came out. Hospital only owned 2 sets. So when this happened, that patient was already asleep on the table. They were already, open, surgery was going on. They had already used instruments from the set, so it was contaminated, and the patient did get an infection.
Oh, wow.
I'm sharing this story, though, because it really comes down to who I am and who a lot of our people in the industry are. We're people that are put into these situations to clean these very high-tech instruments, even more challenging today than they were back in the 90s.
Advanced, right.
Yes. And so what we do is so important. What happened back at that time, my boss met with me and shared with me that, if I wasn't brand new, they would have discharged me. The surgeons wanted me gone, administration wanted me gone. And honestly, it shook me to my core because I had harmed someone. Mm-hmm. But that moment's really carried with me throughout my career because it's so important that we educate people and build systems to set people up for success so that no patient is ever in that position again and no employee is ever in that position again. Yeah. So that's really how I started in the field. I know an odd way to explain who I am, but I started there, and from there, I've been in the field now for over 20 years, worked progressively larger roles. I've gotten my 6 Sigma Black Belt, my bachelor's, master's degree, 3 certifications, a lot of work, and a lot of industry work, a lot of partnering with people to innovate and, bring that future technology to us today so that, again, our employees are set up for success. So I'm a big industry advocate and, very proud of what we've accomplished over the last few years. With that said, it's a changing industry and we have to change. I have to say I'm proud to say I'm going to be defending my dissertation for my doctorate this summer.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's still so new. It's so exciting. And I'll be going to Harvard Med School this fall for a master's program.
That's wonderful.
So a lot's going on for me personally, but there's so much going on in the industry and I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, so in addition to you growing professionally and really learning the industry and the field inside and out, you've been very committed and dedicated to also advancing the profession, so kind of the rising tide.
That's right. That's been one of our big goals for HSPA since I've been on the board as well as president, is to evolve us as sterile processing professionals. That was part of the rebranding we did and a lot of the education and development work that we've been doing, as well as strategic partnerships that we've been doing to kind of elevate us so that we are seen as the sterile processing professionals that we are.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about some of the big initiatives that have happened over the past year that you've been involved with that you're particularly proud of.
Oh, there's so many. We sometimes we have to take a moment and remember where we are Not that long ago, we were in the pandemic, everything was shut down. We were being asked to reprocess N95s,
Right.
if you remember all of that.
Oh, I do, yeah.
So, and our organization, HSPA, was really challenged and struggled. Our conferences were canceled. We were having to learn and pivot.
Everything virtual.
Figure out how to do virtual education. It was a challenge. It's a celebration that we were able to get through that and kind of come back to where we were from pre-pandemic.
And it's wonderful. The conference has been absolutely amazing. There's so much energy, and it's good to see people back. I know you all were back in 2022, but you really feel it at this conference. So it's been amazing, and the engagement from attendees has been phenomenal.
Amanda, thank you, and very well said. Absolutely. We've been hearing that from all the attendees. So with that said, since we are back and things are great, we've been celebrating the fact that we have been HSPA now for a year, and we are elevating that professional image that we are. We recently published our first ever diversity and inclusion statement to show how committed the organization is to having that not just in HSPA itself, but also in the industry. So more is going to be coming out about that in the Process magazine. So keep your eye out for that.
And that's one thing I've always noticed about HSPA is that you get people from all different backgrounds.
Yes.
And you're an international association too.
We are.
So the international community is here also. So it's not just within the U.S. It's educating and opening up and being welcome to others from in the profession from outside of the United States. So
I love that. I love that. And we have over 10 countries represented in this conference. It's phenomenal.
I've met some of the delegations.
Did you?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So do you know a secret?
Tell me.
We had 2 first-time attendees from other countries.
Wow.
And they're in our mentorship program this year.
That's awesome. Well, the mentorship is a big deal too. That's brand new.
It is. That was one of our babies, honestly. So part of bringing that professional image, we need to be able to build the next generation of sterile processing professionals. So we started with our mentorship program for the conference, where we matched our new first-time attendees with our experienced attendees.
That's great.
It's just been phenomenal.
Makes a big difference to have kind of a buddy who's can show you the ropes and
And then not super public yet, but we're working on expanding that into mentorship even beyond the conference.
Oh, wonderful. So an ongoing touch point.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of work's going into that, and very proud of what we accomplished for HSPA this year.
Yes, you should be. Yeah. So good job.
Thank you.